Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. And coming up on today's episode...
He's the kind of actor whose face makes you smile before he even says a word. A scene stealer in countless sitcoms, a voice you've definitely heard in some of your favorite animated films, and a character actor with impeccable timing and heart. This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest, the always hilarious, always genuine, actor Richard Kind. If this is your first time watching or listening to Still Here Hollywood, what took you so long? Even if you're a longtime fan, I have a favor to ask. If you feel it in your heart, please like and follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Or if you watch on YouTube, please subscribe. And with both, it would be great if you rated and commented on your favorite episodes. Thank you so much. And now, on with the show.
Hello.
Hello, Richard.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I
It's
appreciate it.
Pleasure to see you again and be here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. One of the things I'd like to ask you about, I'm always seeing on Instagram these posts of you and a bunch of buddies, among them Rob Morrow.
Okay, we went out for dinner one night, a bunch of character actors, and we went to Musso and Frank's, and we decided to make it not a regular thing, but something that we could all count on because it's fun. And we called ourselves CADS, Character Actor Dining Society. And that you see it on Instagram is it's something that we do. This is for us. It is simply for us, and we don't want publicity about it.
I hear it's a great time.
It's a great time, and a friend of mine, Dylan Baker, once asked me, I had done the front page at Williamstown. It's a 26 character piece. Maybe there's 3 or 4 women in the piece. Maybe. I think there might just be 2. So it's just a bunch of guys. And so Dylan was asked to do it on Broadway, and I said, well, the part will not be very challenging. You don't get a lot of stage time. But the time in the dressing room will be the time of your life. And you're going to hear stories that happened to you, and they're going to say it happened to them. And that's what it is. It's just stories that we tell, or, this story about such and such, or this story, or what happened, or when I worked with, or it's just a blast. It's just a blast. And it is nonstop. And getting ourselves away from the table is the hardest thing.
Yeah, you don't have to stick to a script.
It's not. We're just.
Right.
We all know what we're going through. We know what we're going through as family men. We know what we're going through as actors. We know what we're going through as liberals. We just talk and talk and talk. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a wonderful time. And everybody wants to be part of it, and it's limited. Thank you very much. I'm proud to be part of it.
Good. You belong. When Noah Wiley was here, he was talking about. We'd like to ask if there's any practical jokes or things that have happened to us that they'd like to share with the audience. And he started to tell us a story about you and George Clooney.
There's a few of them.
Oh.
Okay, but you will not hear them from me. You won't hear them from me for a couple of reasons. Number one, George gets all the publicity he needs. I need a little more. So that's the first thing. The second thing is nobody tells them funnier than George, especially the Catbox story, which has been told over and over again. It's been told on TV. It's been told on a podcast. It's been told in print. So we don't need to. And Amal would kill me if I told that again. But I will tell you a story, if you want a practical joke, that I had forgotten about for a few years. And it just, when I thought about it again, I'll tell you why I thought about it, because, where's the camera? Right there? Because I won a SAG award this year, and it reminded me of this story. And I went, okay, I'm kidding. But one night, years ago, I have to go to Vegas for some, publicity. I don't know what it was. So there's a car coming to pick me up, and I used to stay at George's house. This is before Amal and before he had the kids. And he had the house in L.A. He doesn't have it any longer. So I'm staying at his place, and I have my suitcase downstairs and waiting for the car to come. And George, who had been in the kitchen or something like that, just sits down at the foot of the stairs, and we're just chatting, we're gabbing. And I say, ooh, I forgot something, and I go upstairs to get something. I come back downstairs, and then the car comes, and the guy who's driving the car takes the bag, and he puts it into the trunk, and I get driven to Burbank Airport, I think. So I go through the TSA line, and they pull me aside, and they go, sir, could you come here, please? And I go, yeah. And he opens up the suitcase, and there's an Oscar and a SAG award that George put in my suitcase as we were waiting to go. And I have to schlep. You know, the SAG award is very heavy. It's about 12 pounds. An Oscar, I don't know, but I schlepped them to Vegas for the weekend. So he put them in, and that just made me laugh, that he opens it up, and I go, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And so that's what it was.
It's a great story.
It's a good practical joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were part of the Second City comedy troupe.
I was.
Tell me about that. A lot of people have come out of Second City.
Yes, they have. I never aspired to being an improvisational actor. I had friends who I went to college with. You would know Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her husband Brad Hall, a guy named Rush Pearson, Gary Kroger. They all went to do Saturday Night Live. I was in New York at the time. They had a theater out in Chicago called the Practical Theater Company. I went and created a show with some friends out there. Second City saw opening night, said come in the next morning, and I was asked to be in Second City. And I think that they would prefer not Second City comedy troupe, Second City improvisational troupe. That we did comedy came out of it, and funny actors did, but it's a improvisational troupe. And Bernie Solins, the head of Second City, said, come in the next morning, and I will, he wanted to talk, and I got into the company. And I didn't, most people have to do the touring company, or there's a space backstage, next door, where it's sort of the minor league training ground. I don't want to say minor league because that sounds like they're not good, but that was a training ground so that they could eventually get to main stage. I went right to main stage, and I had never improvised before in front of it took me a year and a half to become good. But I had people, Bonnie Hunt, she was in it, and Mike Myers, Ryan Stiles. I worked with John Kapelos, wonderful actor named Mike Haggerty, who's no longer with us. He was in it. Megan Fay. They're great actors. Great, not just improvisational actors.
Mary
great
Gross.
Actors. I was not with Mary Gross. Mary Gross came a few years before me.
And Tina Fey, I think, went through
Tina Fey
Second
came
City?
a few years after me. Oh, no. You go online and you'll meet every comic.
Well, I know. I've been in the
from
lobby at the
62nd.
Second City, and the walls are covered with famous faces.
They are, and I'm one of them who gets to stand next to all those famous faces. And I used to look at those famous faces with dreams, just circling stars, just circling my head, going, one day. And if you go into Second City saying, this will take me to stardom, you're a fool. What it does is it teaches you how to be an actor, how to be in front of an audience, how to find out who you are. I call it the Harvard of comedy, or even the Harvard of acting, because you go in front of an audience every night and you find out who you are and what you can do. And every night it changes because you're improvising every night. Now you do a set show, and that you've created the roles, but you learn. An audience tells you who you are.
Yeah.
It's
and
great.
the audience offers up suggestions.
Oh, they do, and not just with words. They offer it suggestions with their laughter or applause, or if you're any good, an actor can feel an audience and realize which way they're taking you.
When did you first realize it's what you wanted to do?
Last Monday. I always wanted it. Every kid lies in bed, and I say they dream of playing center field for the Yankees or being Mick Jagger. I wanted to be an actor, but that was like I might as well have wanted to be Mick Jagger. It wasn't going to happen. That's not what I was being raised for. That's not why I went to college. I was a kid from middle class and raised to take over my dad's store. And then my dad's friend, I've told this story, we're watching football one Sunday afternoon, my dad and a good friend of ours, Steve Holzman, who said, go try it for a year. And I encourage everybody to try their dream for a year. Usually after high school or college, you have only yourself to answer for. You don't have kids. You usually don't have a wife yet. Go try and see what it is. Don't just go into the job the minute that you're finished. You'll find out what you want to do. You'll aspire to different things over years. But I wanted to be an actor, and so I tried it, and I was okay. Wasn't great. Could withstand the waiting jobs and stuff like that, and really enjoyed it. And before you know it, 1 into 2 years, into 4 years, into 8 years, and now I'm old. And that's what happens. So maybe I went right from college. Maybe I didn't follow my own advice. Maybe I really should have been a stockbroker for a year or two and then got into. No, I just loved it. I loved it.
Did you get support from your family?
That's a weird way to put it. Yes, I did, but it was not sincere. In that, honey, do whatever you want. Oh, honey, it's so good.
As long as you're happy.
As long as you're happy. That's all. We just want you to be happy. But my chances, look what I look like. There's not. I'm going to be an actor. It's a telegenic business. See, you got it. You're the handsome. You've always been the handsome, square-jawed guy, and I was.
Except any jowls.
All right, it's we've softened it we filed it down on the corners, the hard corners. But I don't think they ever expected it. It's not what I was born to, and there was no indication. I was always good in the high school plays. Everybody is, but it's like being a 10 in the small town, and then you come to Hollywood, and all of a sudden you're a 6. So I was good in my high school plays, but then you get into the real world. Oh gosh, does he have it? So were they supportive? They were very supportive. I joke that my dad's happiest moment is when I did Fiddler on the Roof. I was 22 years old. It was summer stock. It was true summer stock. I've done summer theater. There's a difference. This was summer stock. It was 14 shows in 15 weeks. 1 week, we played from Monday to Sunday. And it was not just, little shows. We did Mame and Little Abner and Good News and Brigadoon and Fiddler. The huge, huge honking shows that we would rehearse for a week and then put up. Now, it takes that long for me to read the stage directions. It's crazy what I did, but my dad saw me at age 22 play Fiddler, play Tevye, which was a part.
A 22-year-old Tevye.
At the 22-year-old Tevye, it's just ridiculous. It was stupid, but he was so happy. When I sang Sunrise, Sunset, he was beside himself.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
You mentioned a show that has not been revived in years and years and years, and that's Little Abner.
Little Abner, and it should.
It should be. It's got great songs.
Great songs, a stupid plot, but it knows it has a stupid plot.
Yes.
And you can change it because Al Capp wrote it as a political thing of its time.
Right.
With a lousy story. It's a stupid, stupid story, but he would keep changing it and put up-to-date references in the script. Well, why not just get, a writer, 2 writers from Colbert to come over every Tuesday and rewrite a couple of lines, and it becomes relevant. It's fun. It's a very fun show.
Yes. You couldn't exactly go out today and ask somebody on the street, what are you doing for Sadie Hawkins Day?
Oh, that's right. Well, I wonder if Sadie Hawkins Day is allowed anymore.
I don't know.
We're going to hear something, and this is a song you'll know.
Okay.
Yesterday, so I'm somewhere, and over the loudspeaker comes Jack Jones singing Wives and Lovers.
Right. That was a big hit for him.
Huge. When was the last time you listened to those lyrics?
Oh.
It is the most misogynist. It's horrific. It is a horrific song. It is as so out of date as Pat from Saturday Night Live or Arthur getting drunk in the movie Arthur. It is that outdated. I think it's, hey, little girl, fix your hair, do your makeup. Soon he'll be coming
your way.
There's one thing. Lots of girls in the office It's a horrible, horrible, horrible song. Women would stand up and scream, and I want to do it somewhere. I want to sing it, and I want to invite women to just stand up and boo whenever they want, so it will drown out my song, because I can sing, but I don't have a good voice, but I can sing. Let them drown me out with their boos. It's a horrific song.
Another one you reminded me of when you were talking about that is, I think it was Bobby Vinton.
Sure.
Who did You're Having My Baby?
Oh, You're Having My... No, he didn't. You're Having My Baby, what a wonderful way to tell how much I love you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which seems very dated to me.
No, the bad ones are there's one when you see, I wish I could think of what it is, where a guy is talking about a 14-year-old girl. Oh, if you go back and look at some of these songs, they sounded cute, and we danced to them. They're horrible, horrible songs. Anyway, we've grown up.
It was the decade we were in.
It was, yeah, sure. Oh, no. We were innocent. Let's make America great again, shall we?
Let me write that down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to forget it. What was your first television job?
Oh, I can tell you exactly.
Okay, great.
Chicago.
Yay.
I'm in Second City. I auditioned for a movie with Robert Conrad called Two Fathers Justice. Robert Conrad and George Hamilton, play two fathers whose daughters maybe get hurt or something like that, and these fathers go after them, and I play their lawyer. The read-through with a lot of people was easily an hour west of Chicago at this restaurant. Now, why would he choose that restaurant to have the read-through there? Sunday morning at 9 in the morning. Why would you do that? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because Robert Conrad has such an ego that Wild Wild West was on WGN. The repeats were on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. So we went to his friend's restaurant, because he's a Chicago boy. Monitors, at this was the time, we're talking 40 years ago, almost 35. Monitors all around the restaurant were brought, and Wild Wild West was shown while we're having breakfast. And then we read it, and what I remember was, he goes, in his Chicago voice, which I can't do, he goes, I don't want anybody coming to the set with their script. You know these lines. You know them backwards and forwards, okay? I don't want you wasting our time coming on set with a script, trying to learn your lines. You come on, you know them. Well, this is my first job. I have a speech like this. I'm their lawyer. And I just rattle it. So on my day, I go up and we rehearse, and I rattle them off, and I see Robert Conrad turn to George Hamilton, kid's good, he knows his lines. And I was going, what, are you kidding me? But I rattled them off, and that's what it was.
So he was giving everybody kind of a little pep talk speech before?
Sure he was. He was producing it. He was starring in it. He was a big star. Yeah, I think he produced it. So that's what it was. But yes, he taught. But he, because he was king. He was Robert Conrad.
Right.
So yeah, he gave everybody a talking to.
And this was your first
That was my
TV
first job. That was my
job.
very first job. And then, and then out here, I did a show called My Sister Sam.
Oh, right.
It was like one of my first. And okay, here's the thing. I will try and you'll get it. I'm going to try and explain for your audience. And I almost wish that you could turn the camera to see what's off screen. Can we? Can you turn the little so they can see the light stands? Okay. It's me, Mary Tyler Moore, and Eileen Heckert. If you remember Eileen Heckert,
sure.
Wonderful, from The Bad Seed.
Butterflies Are Free.
Won the Academy Award for Butterflies Are Free. So, Mary Tyler Moore and Eileen Heckert, and here's me. And I do the scene, the cameras are facing them, and I have to leave set. So I have to go, and I have to leave the set, or leave the room, which is leave over here, open the door, and close it. Now, light stands like this are blocking the door because they're lighting these two beautiful women. So they're all there, and I go, well, how do I open the door? And they go, well, what you do is you just get by the lights and you just become invisible, as if you've just left, and they're going to continue the scene. So I go over and I make myself invisible by going like this. They turn the camera around. It's called turn the camera around, so now they're going to be on me. So the camera's over here. I'm talking to them, and I leave the room, and I go over to the door, and I go like this. Now, there are no light stands. I'm supposed to open the door and leave the room. And I didn't know. And I go over to the door, and I just go like this in the corner. And pretty soon the whole room is laughing because cute little kid who doesn't know how to act on camera. And that was one of the first times. Okay, we don't have to see the light stand if you want to adjust the camera anymore. You got it? Okay. There you go. But that was Mary Tyler Moore and Eileen Heckert. Can you imagine? I was terrified.
I interviewed Mary several times,
Yeah.
once in her home in upstate New York, which was spectacular. Eileen Heckert, I wish I would have had the opportunity to interview her. But
She was a Connecticut. She was like New
Yeah.
England stock. That's what she was. She didn't take, bull from nobody.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
she
that
was great.
impression. Well, she played Mary's Aunt Flo on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
That's right. And this was a show called Annie McGuire.
Oh,
And,
right.
And you remember Dennis Arndt? Another Chicago. Oh, he just passed away about 2 months ago. Wonderful actor.
I don't remember him.
Oh, he's a great actor. Great actor.
I think I visited, wasn't it shot right over here in Studio City, Annie McGuire?
Oh, I bet it was. Oh, I did plenty of things. We're here
yeah.
near Radford.
Yep.
Oh, please. I love this place.
Yeah.
Most famous for Gilligan's Island. And I think My Three Sons was also shot here.
And Bob Newhart's show,
Was it shot here?
St. Elsewhere, was shot here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a fun studio, fun set.
Actually, the show that I did, the where I met George, Bennett Brothers, was shot here at Radford.
Bennett Brothers?
That's how George and I met. We played brothers on a failed pilot, but we shot it here.
And we'll be right back. If you'd like to be more involved with us at Still Here Hollywood, you definitely can. Just visit patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You can support us for as little as $3 a month. You can get our episodes a day before they post anywhere else. You can see what guests will be coming up and submit questions for them. You can even tell us what stars you want us to have on as guests. You'll see what goes on before and after the episode, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes info, pics, video, and more. Again, that's patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You've had very good experiences here, haven't you?
My life is a good experience. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. If you had to ask bad experiences, no.
It's just, maybe it's just your outlook is good.
Or I'm Pollyanna, or I just have horrible problems. I sublimate my emotions, and everything's fine, and I just go skipping through life. No, I do have a good outlook. Look where I am. And I will tell you, and you will back me up. There are no people like show people. There just aren't. They're fun. They're interesting. They're usually liberal, and I mean liberal in. I'm bringing up George a lot, but George and I used to talk about this. What is wrong with the word liberal? Why is liberal a bad word nowadays? And if you look it up in the dictionary, it means open to things, that you are welcoming to all things. And I think that's what a liberal is. And I think of myself as a liberal in both my politics, but politics is open to all peoples, and I'm open to all experiences and all peoples. So I think I am that. So maybe I am. That's why my experiences are good.
What do you think is the key to good comedic acting? Is there such a thing?
No, I'm sorry. It's a boring answer. No. If you have good writing and you play the truth, it's funny. And you got to understand, I'm not a comedic actor. I'm funny in a lot of the roles that I play. But with any hope, there will be a TV show on Netflix. I pray it's going to happen, where I'm doing a role that is so not comedic at all. I'm the lead. There's not a joke in it. I am serious. If you take a look at a show that I was nominated for a Tony, I was a horrible, horrific motherfucker of a man, based on Harry Cohn, in a play by what's his name? The guy who wrote Sweet Smell of Success. Oh, God. And Golden Boy. Clifford Odets. Clifford Odets wrote a play called The Big Knife. And Rod Steiger played this role in the movies. And it was a role that I used to admire. And then I did it, and I saw Rod Steiger do it. Rod Steiger is god-awful. He's terrible in the role. And Rod Steiger is one of my favorites. He's terrible, terrible, terrible. And but the man is just a bastard. He's horrible. And that was great. Being mean is a wonderful thing.
Would you rather do that than comedic roles?
No.
Do you get called on any of those?
It's not one or the other. If you have a steak, do you say, I wish I could have had would you rather have a steak? No, I'll have a lobster. No, I'll have a piece of pizza. I like it. I like everything. I like to do different. I like to sing. Do I like musicals any better than plays? No. I like it all. I like when I'm doing it. I like the role. So it's not one to the other. And sometimes the bad thing is right now, if I have a comedic role, lately, because of the genre of work that I'm doing, I tend to be larger than I want to be. And of course, look, even into a microphone here, when I talk like that, I seem to be larger, okay? Okay, inherently Richard Kind is funny sometimes. And there great comedy is just played for truth. Now, I think I was being truthful there, but I was enormous in how I presented it. But no, would I rather play a comic role than a serious role? No. There was a time when I wanted to do comedy, or when I wanted to act, I wanted on camera, I wanted to do for camera, meaning like a situation comedy.
Like I Love Lucy.
Well,
originated,
yeah, like I Love Lucy. But more people know nowadays. They know shows like
Will and Grace was one that.
Will and Grace, stuff like that. All in the Family, Roseanne. There's
Right.
for camera as opposed to like The Office or single camera. I prefer single camera now. I used to like for camera. I do like acting on film, serious, more than comedy, because I tend to make large choices. And in comedy, if you're doing it on film, I shriek. I do that. But in John Mulaney's show, I'm enormous. And I watch it, I go, oh my God. But it serves the premise. That's what I do. Did you see the show Mid-Century
Yes.
Modern?
Oh, yes.
Huge. I'm so big in that show. Not an ounce of subtlety. And that's a for-camera show. And you're playing to the audience, and you're playing to the genre of comedy. And all three of them, they're so good, and they play so real. But the genesis of my character is to be loud and obnoxious. I got to serve the character. I got to serve the script. So I'm loud and big on camera. But you do it. But I'd rather do one of the other parts, so that I can just be a normal person.
Well, I had a hard time taking my eyes off Matt Bomer.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Yes. And what a great guy he is.
Is he? He seems like it.
He's a gem. All three of them. They're great.
I've met Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And you worked with Linda Lavin, who just passed away.
I did work with her. Sort of on the show. She was there. She was on set and everything like that. But I knew Linda. Linda played the lead character in a play that I ended up taking over. She did a play called Tale of the Allergist's Wife with Michelle Lee, the great and glorious Michelle Lee, and Tony Roberts, who just left it. Did you know Tony at all?
No.
Oh, Tony, God, what a funny guy he was. He was such a good man. And he gave me one of the greatest pieces of acting advice I've ever had. And I believe this can be translated into any role that you have. Linda Lavin played a shrewish Upper West Side wife of an allergist. It was called The Tale of the Allergist's Wife. So
Wasn't it written by Charles Busch?
It was. And Charles was great. I've done a few plays with Charles. But he wrote this character. I used to say she was Medea on stage as an Upper West Side woman. Anybody who lives in New York knows those type of women. She was brilliant, nominated for a Tony, everything like that. But you sort of hated her. You just go, just shut up. And Tony Roberts said, I took over for Tony, he said, love your wife. If you do, the audience will love her, and they'll also love you. And it was very important because she could be well hated. If I took offense to her or anything, and my character was a put upon husband, then they would really not like her. But she's the heroine. And I went, well, that's great. And I think in everything, including Streetcar Named Desire, where Stanley utterly hates Blanche. But if underneath there is a love, I believe that adds a different dimension to how Stanley can be interpreted.
And Tony Roberts gave you this piece of advice?
He did. He was a really great man. And he also had one of the great lines. He said, I can't remember. It's in my phone. It was in his. Anyway, keep going. Sorry, folks.
That's okay.
Sorry, folks. Write me. I'll tell you. I'll write it. Okay.
You and Paul Reiser had great chemistry.
Thank you.
Did it come naturally?
Yeah, I'll bet it did. Yeah. He's another good guy, funny, everything like that. But I was only on that show 1 year.
Spin City, was it? No, it was
Mad About You.
Mad About You.
Right.
Spin City you were on.
I was on Spin City. Well, everybody had great chemistry on that show. There's a show where we loved each other, where we were playing tennis with better tennis players. Alan Ruck and Michael Boatman, Sandy Chaplin, certainly Michael. God, even and Charlie. Charlie's magnificent. He is. God, I wish he didn't have the reputation that he has that sort of overshadows how good he is and how good a man and how smart a man he is. And Michael, who I still see a lot, and he's known for his bravery now and being such a hero. He was shockingly good, shocking. And there were times where he'd be acting, and I would look at him and think, really. That's your choice. That's how you're going to say it. In my head, I'm thinking. And then I would see him on TV, and I go, oh, my God, he's magic. The same thing happened with Christopher Walken. I got to act with Christopher Walken one time. And you can imagine those choices. And I'm looking and go, oh, really? Okay, well, go ahead. And then I see him, and I go, he knows what he's doing. He's just great. Both of them, they were great.
I've not heard someone talk as much as you do about making choices. I tend to think of acting as getting a script, memorizing it, and then going out and doing it.
Oh,
you have to make
there's all sorts of choices.
Many choices during the course of it.
Yeah, and you ask the director. Well, here's a bad thing, but I said I like to be a little more realistic in my acting and in my certainly in my comedic choices. But on Spin City, I had a job to do. My job was so that nobody took the remote control and said, I'm changing the channel. Because every 3 lines, I would say something funny, and I would have to get a laugh. Okay? I was a comic character. I was a satellite character, and satellite characters have to get laughs. The action goes to the main character. Okay, the story, the arc of the story goes to the main character. How do we affect them? And through me, and through some of the other actors, you get your laughs so that a story can be told. And I would sometimes ask our producer, can I say this like a human being, or do I have to get a laugh? And it really was, there are different ways of just saying a line as opposed to punching a line. And that's what you have to do. But certainly, okay, I like doing plays more than doing TV. And I talk about this. I do these speaking gigs, okay, where I come into a town and I'll get interviewed. We show clips from my career. Then I get interviewed for about 45 minutes, an hour. And then I read a story by Simon Rich that I did on Broadway. Simon Rich wrote a wonderful play, big seller, did it with John Mulaney and Fred Armisen. And then I do a Q&A like Carol Burnett used to do. And it's fun. It's a fun afternoon or evening. God, I keep talking, and what was I saying? Okay. And I say this in the show. Doing a play is much more rewarding because you get a month to try things. How does this sound? How does it look if I go over here? How would it be if I screamed at her as opposed to just threatened her? And all different things. TV and movies, you come to set, you have to know your lines. You have to make your day. That is what TV and movies is all about. You have 12 hours to do 9 pages. At the end of those 12 hours, they better be finished, or else it's going to cost that film company and therefore the network a lot more money because you're going into overtime. So know your lines. That's your job. If you're a good actor, you'll be great. If you're a great actor, you'll be astounding. But know your lines. America must hear the words. By the end of the day, that's your job. But in a play, let's work. Let's go. And then you go to the theater that day. Oh my God, I had the sandwich I had for lunch. It's backing up on me. How is that going to affect my performance? I just had a fight with my wife. How is that going to affect my mood when I do the play? And then what will take you? Oh gosh, I don't feel so good. How is that going to? But they're seeing it for the first time. And it changes every night. And it changes every day during rehearsal. That's the thrill of it. That's what's fun about theater. TV, maybe you rehearse for 20 minutes. If you're lucky, on a show I did called Luck with Dustin Hoffman and Nick Nolte and directed by some great directors. Michael Mann, David Milch wrote it. I'm sitting across the table with Nick Nolte working on a scene, or Dustin Hoffman working on a scene. That's thrilling. But we only got 45 minutes, an hour to rehearse, as opposed to a month to rehearse. Lines mean nothing then. You'll get your lines. What's the character? What's the story? What are we trying to tell? What story? It can be thrilling.
And if you have a whole month, you absorb something that I don't even think you're aware of. At least that's how it works for me.
Like, that's exactly it.
Why didn't I think of that sooner? Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the drive. I call that the drive home. If you are an actor worth your salt, the drive home is the worst place on earth. I still live with drive homes that happened a month, 2 months, a year ago. Things, why didn't I do that? It happens on Mulaney all the time because that's improvised. You can imagine working at Second City where you improvise every night, and then it's over and I go, why didn't I say that? Oh, this would have been so good if I took this character in a different direction, or I did this. So many different choices in theater. And yes, you're absolutely right. So you are contradicting what you said at the start of this conversation. I just thought acting was memorizing the lines and doing it. It's not. Acting is not. The lines are secondary. Get to the heart. Get to what do you want. Get to who this man is. The lines will come. You got a month to get them. If you don't know them in a month, there's something wrong with you. Although, at a certain age, you start to forget them anyway. Thank God I don't do it yet.
I'm very contradictory.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. Okay.
Yes, very good. I was trying to think of what I could follow that with. Back with more in a moment.
Do I talk a lot more than you want me to?
No.
Okay.
You can't.
Yes,
I'm getting lost. The problem is I'm getting lost in your responses.
Oh, okay.
Because they're so good.
Well, thank you. Well, the conversations.
Yeah, I know. That's what I think interviews should be.
Yeah.
The best interviews are conversations.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the show you're working on now.
Which show is it? That's the sad thing. I know. How awful a statement. How just awful that I say that. Go ahead. Which show are you referring to?
Mid-Century.
Well, I'm not working on it now. I did 2 episodes of it, and I'm not a regular, so I don't even know whether they'll have me back.
Oh.
If it falls in the storyline, I will be doing cartwheels because I love the set. I love those 3 guys. A dear friend of mine is on the show I guess she might be a regular, but she plays Nathan's sister, Pam Adlon, who I have known for 30 years, and don't say that out loud because poor Pam is only 32 years old. And she plays Nathan's sister. Jimmy Burrows is directing it. I had never worked with Jimmy before, and he was a friend. We know each other through golf. I auditioned for him once for what was called the Richard Kind role. Somebody wrote a pilot that got made into a series. They told me, they were friends of mine, we wrote the Richard Kind role. Okay? It was all excited. I go in, I audition, and I had to do what's called a working session with Jimmy Burrows. That I didn't know what a working session was. You think that you're going to work with the director and everything. Studio going to the final audition was that Monday. He couldn't make it on Monday. So he had a working session on Friday, which was just an audition. Really, it was just a final audition for Jimmy. So I did maybe 70% of it. And they go, thank you, that's all. And I go, no, are we going to work a little? And, no, we've seen it. And they go, well, I really didn't hit any of the laughs until the last line. And Jimmy goes, you're right, yep. And I went, oh, God, what are you talking about? And I left, and I didn't get the Richard Kind role. And that show was called Caroline in the City. Oh. And the role went to a friend who, Tom, what's his last name? But who played Biff in
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. And by the time they shot the pilot, that role was written out. So the Richard Kind role was written out to boot.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. I didn't get it.
It reminds me of that,
Tom.
It reminds me of that story that Celeste Holm used to say.
Tell me.
5 stages of an actress's career.
Yeah. Right.
Who's Celeste Holm?
Right.
Get me Celeste. Get me a Celeste Holm type.
Yeah, right.
Get me Celeste Holm. Mm-hmm. And finally it ends up with who's Celeste Holm.
Although my favorite ones about those are Shelley Winters was... do you know that one?
I think so.
With the Oscars in her bag.
Right.
And they go, it was that one where they say, what have you done? And she pulls out the 2 Oscars, and here are 2 guys who know what I've done or what I've been in. Although somebody once said they were talking to, going way back, only you'll get this reference. Somebody's talking to Jack Gilford's agent and said, we need a Jack Gilford type. And he goes, well, I happen to know, to represent Jack Gilford, and I know he's available. He goes, nah, he's not right. And so there you go.
Let's see. I have questions from some of our viewers here.
Oh, wow. Oh, much prefer those.
Okay. Thank you.
It's no, I like the. You know what showbiz is.
We have a question from one of our Patreon subscribers.
Yay.
Her name is Natalie Jones, and she says, "I loved Richard on Scrubs."
Nice. Scrubs.
Scrubs, right?
Oh my God! Can you believe it, Natalie? Can you imagine? Okay, go ahead.
What was that set and time like?
Okay. I think I only did 2 or 3 episodes of Scrubs.
Well, they stood out in her mind.
You'd be shocked how many people say, I love you on Scrubs. I have 300 credits. I'm on 3 episodes of that show, and kids come up and go, I loved you on Scrubs. Scrubs was created, I think that was his next show. Bill Lawrence, who I knew he was great when he was working on Spin City. I knew he was great, brilliant, facile, funny, get story. He was great. I didn't know that he was a genius. And he's a genius. Bill Lawrence did Scrubs. It outdid Spin City. Wonderful cast, Zach Braff, so many people, just great. McGinley, and people loved it. Now, if you look at a show like 30 Rock, which had scene, it moves all over and move. That was all created by Bill Lawrence. He created that genre. He did it with Spin City. Some of my scenes were a quarter of a page long. Helped tell my story through 3 or 4 of those quarter-page scenes. That's how my storyline would escalate. That's what he did with Scrubs. 30 Rock does that. So that's all Bill Lawrence. He was as important to situation comedies, and especially situation comedies today, as Carl Reiner or Norman Lear in developing a genre or a style. He's brilliant, and he has heart, as was evidenced in Ted Lasso. He created Ted Lasso, created the Cougar Town or whatever that show. He's superior. He created Shrinking. He's great. He's a genius, a television genius. I don't think he's written a movie, but for TV, and he's a great guy. He's a great man. His wife is great. His daughter is now a big star, big singer. I can't talk highly enough about Bill Lawrence. And so what was it like? You're going onto a set with good writing. So that's the first thing. Anytime you get good writing, you're in good hands. I did it with Max and what did Max? Who's Max and who? What? Max and David on Mid-Century Modern. The lines are great, and they come up with these lines. They rewrite on their feet. These are brilliant people. Bill was like that. The directors were great. Like I say, the cast was great. It was fun. It was what's your name, Jessica? Natalie, you are correct to love Scrubs, and I know about how old you are now. Okay.
Okay, here's another one. I know he's provided voices on the animated...
Wait, who wrote this? Who sent this in?
Natalie Jones.
Enough, Natalie. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I could make up a different name.
Okay.
It's from
Go
Smyrna.
ahead, Steve. Yes, go ahead.
I know he's provided voices on the animated shows Family Guy and American Dad.
Yep.
Any funny or memorable stories from that?
No. The only thing I can tell you is they know exactly what they want. You come into the room with your own interpretation and everything. I get directed more on those two shows and working with those people, with McFarlane's people, than any director I've ever worked with. They get you to do the line exactly how they heard it when they wrote it. And sometimes I flat out say, give me a line reading. I'm not getting it.
Do you?
I do. Oh, I love line readings. Nobody sounds like me. Nobody sort of acts like me. So you want a line reading, I call it, you know when you were a kid and you did a paper in high school?
Which my mother wrote.
Oh, really? So this is why you're doing this.
Yes.
You see, if you would only worked harder and done it by yourself. Now, so you used to write an essay and you spelled a word incorrectly, and they put spelling and they took points off. They said, why didn't you look it up? Well, why didn't I look it up? Because I thought that's how it was spelled. Why would I look it up? This is how it's spelled. So I go in, I say a line, and they go, no, like that. Tell me how it's spelled. Give it to me. I'll listen. Oh, that's how it's spelled. And then you do it that way. I did that once with Barry Kemp. Wonderful. Do you remember the name Barry Kemp?
Yes, I do.
He created The Coach. He wrote on Taxi, and a wonderful. He's still with us too, but I don't think he's working any longer. He was a very generous producer. Made a bundle too. He deserves it. And there was a show called Princesses, if you remember that, with Fran Drescher and Twiggy.
Oh.
And so I'm doing
I
an
should have
episode
remembered
of that.
that.
I'm doing a show, and he comes up during the taping. He wasn't there during the week. During the taping, and he says, I do it I like this, and he's giving me direction, and I'm going, Barry, give me a line. Tell me how it sounds in your head. And he did it. And I go, thank you. I'm only doing it the way that I did it in the audition because that got me the job. I'm not going to change it. I'm holding on to what got me the job. Mm-hmm. This is great. He wasn't the writer of it. He wasn't the director. He was the producer. And he said, this is what I want. And I said, I just didn't think of it. I'm fallible. I make mistakes. It can always be improved. Why not? Why not do it? So I do it. I love direction. I really do. Alfred Hitchcock said, actors are like cattle. Now, that's a very...
Who said that?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
And it sounds like it's an insult. Now, actors are as stupid as cows, But we're not. But to be cattle, what he meant was, you get a sheepdog or a dog, a herding dog, who pushes a cattle this way and then up the hill this way and pushes them this way, and that's how they can be pushed into certain directions and can be treated as such. Just a little nudge this way and a little nudge that way, and I think that's what he meant. But we are stupid. Bottom line.
One last question from Natalie. What has it been like working with Disney on movies and TV shows?
It's so spectacularly underpaid. As a kid, I dreamt of being Kirk Russell and sitting on Walt Disney's lap and being around Walt Disney because I loved Walt Disney. I love Disney like people love Stan Lee today and want to be part of Marvel movies. I wanted to be in Mary Poppins. I wanted to be with Fred McMurray in Follow
Shaggy
Me
Dog
Boys.
or
No, Follow Me Boys.
Follow Me Boys.
That's where Kurt Russell was the kid, and that's what I wanted when I was a kid. Disney is a machine that makes great product, and I'm proud to be part of it. I'm really proud to be part of the Pixar family. I think I've done 6 movies with them. So yes, Pixar is now owned by Disney, but because I know Pete Docter and the whole slew of people at Pixar, because I'll say it, I'm part of the family. I know them all personally, and I walk tall when I'm work with them and doing one of their movies. I'm proud. They do the best they can do. There will never be a remake of Cars, let's say, or Bugs Life. They take years to develop a great product. So when you see a Pixar movie, just know that the finest minds have gone into and taken their time to make the finest product they can.
Richard, how much time do you spend? I feel as though I spend a lot of time consuming media. Theater, movies, television.
Wow.
But you're calling on stuff that is jarring my memory because I can't pull it that fast. You seem to absorb yourself, or
I do. Geez, what a good question. In the past 10 to 15 years, I don't know it. I don't know popular culture. I'm older. I don't like what young people like. I've seen every Marvel movie to a degree. My son, who is now 20, I've slept through every Marvel movie. But I've been to every one with him, and they tire me. I don't get involved with them. Some of them I really, really like. I'd love to be a part of them. But I'm like a hooker. Do I enjoy it? No, but I'll do it for money. I don't watch as much TV as I should because there's way too much, but I do it all the time. When I was a kid, I would sit on the toilet and read the TV guide. I would read Leonard Maltin's books. I knew trivia inside and out, which I still do know. The Oscars, I know trivia, but like up until the year 2006. After that, I had kids, and I tend to fall asleep during movies. You know when I watch TV? On the treadmill or the elliptical.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you fall asleep there, you're in trouble.
Yes.
So I will only watch TV on my iPad, on an elliptical, or because the minute I start reading a book nowadays, I'm just out. And I really used to love to read. It's bad. So I always say that books and movies help save my life. They help elongate my life because I'm on the treadmill. But I'll go on for an hour, and I'll watch it. And you watch wonderful things, and you don't fall asleep, and they're great. But you only have an hour a day of watching those things. What I do watch every night are the talk show hosts who give their monologue. That's what I fall asleep to. I listen to them, and I read the New York Times, but I will listen to the monologues of the talk show hosts at 11:35. Yeah, and Seth Meyers at 12:35.
In my house, the television set is never off.
It's never off.
Never. I sleep with it on.
I used to do that, and it did do that. And if I wake up in the middle of the night now, as we are off to do, I will put on YouTube and I will listen to, let's say, Lawrence O'Donnell or Rachel Maddow, and I listen to them, and after about 15 minutes, I'm off. So it's the equivalent. I actually, in my apartment in L.A., I don't have a TV, so come rob my apartment. I got nothing. Yeah. And now, how often do you pay attention to the TV that's always on?
It's sometimes it's just background noise.
Of course. So when do you decide that I am now going to listen as front ground noise?
And more, especially in the past few years, ever since the Cubs won the World Series, I'm sports grabs my attention.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sports is they only have so many scores, and they only ESPN certainly repeat their shows.
Yeah, they sure do.
Two,
So
three,
does
four times.
MSNBC. Repeats everything.
Oh yeah, I guess they do. Yeah.
I worked in television news for 30 years.
Right.
So I used to really be glued to a news story when a news story happened, but I'm not that way anymore.
You aren't. That's background stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it is always on at the station that you were working on.
Oh,
It
yes.
was always on.
Yes.
So used to that. Do you read newspapers?
No, I don't. You know why? Because they've gotten so expensive. I went to buy a L.A. Times at the airport.
What was it, $1.75 or something?
No. It was like $7.
No, that's not true. Oh, Sunday paper then.
No. It was a Monday morning. I was leaving to go back to Chicago.
No, that's impossible.
It was something like that. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was so surprised I took a picture of the price and sent it to a friend. Look at this.
Oh, my gosh.
And it used to be...
I didn't know that because I haven't bought a paper, but I do have a subscription to the New York Times, but I only use it for my phone and my iPad. It's only electronically because the newspaper, the print is too small, and it will start to hurt my eyes, but I read it voraciously on my phone or on the iPad.
I used to love getting the paper. And
Love it.
One of the things you were taught, I don't know if Jim can back me up, but I was always taught when you walk into the newsroom in the morning, you should know everything that's going on ahead of time.
Wow.
So you have some kind of a grasp of what's going on.
I can see that.
Not everybody followed that, but I sure did.
Well, or you could announce a story and go, "Whoa, wait till you hear this."
As some of them do.
My.
Let's see, where am I? How about this question? Tell us how lucky George Clooney is to be married to the amazing Amal.
Oh, great. Oh, amazing. Amazing. The smartest there is, and George is the smartest there is, and then found his match. She's kind. She's such a good mother. God knows she's pretty. She has a lot of clothes, But I guess they get given. Yeah, it is. She can't wear the same thing twice, and she gets given clothes and everything. She is a true humanitarian in that her legal work fights for the protection of those who cannot fight for themselves. The Clooney Foundation. I will talk about the Clooney Foundation. The people who put what do you call it to power? What is it? Truth to power. Mm-hmm. That is what she does. She tries to uncover the truth for those powerful people who are sublimating their constituents, mainly in the Middle East. She's great. I admire her. I love her. I cannot talk highly enough about her. And of course, the best joke being by Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. But George has found I'm talking about him a lot, but he has found a conduit to making his opinions known through his stardom, but also by helping to change the world through his wife. And therefore, you have the Clooney Foundation, which each year celebrates 5 people who really are putting their lives on the putting their lives on the line in their home country because the government wants to kill them or punish them or put them away, and they still fight the fight. We don't have those people. I wish we had them on the Democratic side, and people who, or even on the Republican side, who say, we now have a tyrant, I'm going to stand up to you, what you're doing is wrong. And ours is Little Women compared to the injustices done in these countries. She's great.
I don't think a lot of people know, or maybe they do, maybe they're getting to know, but George and I had a chance to chew the fat every once in a while at the Hollywood YMCA. We were there at the same time.
Yeah, but that's before he was George Clooney.
That was before he was George Clooney.
Right. Oh, he would talk to anybody then.
Hence, thank you. But he always struck me as being such a humanitarian.
He was. He was. He is. I'm telling you, I just talked about liberalism. He's the one who said, "Why is it so bad to be a liberal?" Yeah, he's a humanitarian. I could
one of the most decent people I think I've ever met.
Yeah, he is, and I could tell you stories. I'll tell you one story. This is a good story. I'm talking about him way too much. Got lots of stories. I'd just been hired for Mad About You. We were supposed to have a read-through at Sony. The LA riots happened, so it got canceled. And we were going to go to the head of the studio's house, John Feldheimer's house, do the read-through, and then I was going to go down to Palm Springs. I could name drop. I'm going to go with Matt Perry and Hank Azaria and Craig Bierko, friends of mine at the time. We're going to go to Palm Springs, to wait out the fires that were brandishing in L.A. And I called George, and I said, "Listen, George, I've got a read-through for Mad About You. It's at John Feldheimer's house. Then I'm going to leave from there for Palm Springs. Do you want to meet me? Do you want to drive alone? What do you want? You want me to pick you up? We'll go down to Palm Springs." And this was, I imitate not his voice, but his tone. He goes, "You're not going to Palm Springs." And I go, "No, I'm going after the read-through." He goes, No. You're not going to Palm Springs. You don't go to Palm Springs while your city is on fire. You stay here and you help clean up. And he went out, and this is before ER, so he was not a star. He bought garbage pails, rakes, shovels, and hefty bags, and we went and we helped clean up all of the places in East LA and down south that had been burnt and covered by the riots. All the guys, we were famously a bunch of guys that are still friends, and we were all friends then. And we went down and we did due diligence to help the community. In my heart, it was a no-brainer. Of course, that's what you do. But I didn't think of it. I'm too selfish to think of it. He thinks of it. I would like to. I would like to walk the walk, and if asked, I walk the walk. He starts the walk. He says, "On your mark, get set, go." That's the difference between him and me. So he's a good guy.
My little prompter here is telling me to say thank you.
But I have so much more to talk about.
And I have so many things I'd like to ask you. But
I'm just not. And for poor Jennifer, is it Jennifer? Who was it?
Natalie.
Natalie wants to know more. Natalie, I'm here for you.
Well, Natalie Jones, I think it was.
I don't care.
That sounds made up.
I don't like the last name. Just Natalie. She knows who she is.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. This has been a lot of fun for me.
Thank you.
I was expecting this to be a good one.
You're very nice. Thanks. That's very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerly. Theme music by Brian Sanashin. And executive producer is Jim Lichtenstein.